Hey guys, this is Aaron Carmen from AXE Electronic, back with another video in our series of lectures covering basic circuit analysis. So last time in lecture 7, we got a little bit sidetracked and we started looking at LT-Spice, which is a really powerful piece of circuit simulation software that's free to use, and we looked at how we can get set up and get started with that. So I really hope you'll go back and look at that if you haven't seen it already. But today we're going to get back into the swing of things and we're going to look at the node voltage method. This is lecture 8, this is the node voltage method. And the reason we're going to be looking at this is because there are going to be some circuits that are sort of complex, more complex, or that require some more thought that really we can't use, really we can't simplify using the methods that we've looked at so far, like series and parallel resistors. Okay, so the node voltage method is going to help us set up a system of equations that allows us to, once again, solve for the circuit. Okay, so this node voltage method, this is actually the method that the circuit simulators use, and you'll see how it works later on. So this is the first method that we're going to be looking at. In lecture 9, we're going to be looking at what's called the mesh current method, but this is the first method we're going to be looking at. Typically people will prefer either the node voltage or the mesh current method, but it's good to know both of them. So for this first one, like I said, we're going to be looking at node voltage method. Okay, and like I said, this is a very robust, very powerful way of analyzing these circuits, and the best part about this is that you can generalize it to any circuit whatsoever. It doesn't have to be only a simple circuit or a very complex circuit. This works on any circuit you could ever imagine. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is that we're going to look at a simple example. Okay, so this first simple example that we're going to look at, and I'll go ahead and draw it out here. Oh, didn't realize I was using green. Let me get switched back to black. All right, so we're going to have a 10 volt source here. Going to have a 3 ohm resistor. Okay, and then we're going to have 4 ohm resistor. Go ahead and mark down the resistance values. Okay, and then we're going to have another 4 ohm resistor in parallel. Okay, so this is the setup that we're going to have for this first example. Okay, so the first step in the node voltage method is going to be to decide on what's called a reference node or a ground node. Okay, so this node, so the node's voltage, just to review, a node is pretty much anything that is connected by just wire. Okay, so let's go ahead and call this node node A. We'll call this node node B. Okay, and then down here you can see that this is all connected. This bottom wire is all connected here, so it's all a single node. And let's just go ahead and call it our reference node or our ground node. Okay. So the reason we need this ground node is because the voltage at node A and the voltage at node B are both going to be referred to this ground. Okay, so this ground is 0 volts. We know that for a fact already, that ground is 0 volts, because that's essentially just what we're deciding on. We're deciding that we're going to call that 0 volts. So then everything else is going to be in relation to that. So it'll either be higher or lower in relation to this ground node. Okay. So second step is going to be to assign names to the remaining nodes. So this one has 2 of those remaining nodes that we already called A and B. Okay. So we have the node A and node B, and each of those is going to have a voltage associated with it. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is now that we have this all written out, I'll go ahead and zoom out so you can see the equations. At the same time as the circuit. What we're going to do is we're going to write Kirchhoff's current law for each of these nodes. So for node A and for node B. So now remember Kirchhoff's current law. So KCL, Kirchhoff's current law, is the sum of the current in. So let me go ahead and do the sum of the current I in has to be equal to the sum of the current out of a node. Okay, so current in equals current out. Or what you could just say is that the sum of all the currents in a node has to be equal to 0. Okay, and you'll decide whether a current in or a current out is negative. Okay, so we'll look at this. So we can say, let's go ahead and just say the sum of all the currents leaving the node has to be equal to 0. Okay, and you'll see why here in a moment. So let's start off with node A. Okay, so for node A, we're going to write KCL. Okay, so for node A, we write KCL. Well, if we want to write KCL here, we need to know this current going out here. Okay, so this is going to be one current. I won't label it for now, but we need to know the current going out here and the current going this way from node A. Okay, so we'll have to set both of those equal to 0. But what you can see is that we can pretty much already say that the voltage at node A, VA, has to be equal to 10 volts. Okay, because we know this is 0 volts down here. I'll use the green color. This is 0 volts. And we have a rise of 10 volts through this source, and then we get to node A. So it has to be 10 volts there. So we already know the voltage at node A is 10 volts. Okay. So now we know the voltage at node A. We need to try and figure out the voltage at node B. So now let's use the node voltage method. So here what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, we need to find all the currents leaving node B. There's 1, 2, and 3 currents leaving node B. Right? Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that there are currents leaving the node, but it just means that these are all the places that current can come from or can go. Okay? So now, let's write KCL in a very general sense. Okay? So let's start with this current, the one that's going straight down. Okay? So that current going straight down, the way we can represent that is the potential difference across this resistor. I will use the blue color. The potential difference across this resistor, if you remember from Ohm's law, okay, the voltage across that resistor has to be equal to the current through that resistor times the resistance. Okay? So we know that this is Ohm's law. We know that this is true. We can rearrange to find the current through the resistor is equal to the voltage across the resistor divided by the resistance. Okay? So that means that the voltage across the resistor is going to be VB minus 0 volts, because down here is ground. Okay? So VB minus 0 volts over that 4 ohm resistance is equal to that current. Okay? So this we can use to represent the current for each of these, right? So that's what we'll do here. So let's go ahead and write KCL. So that's one current. I'll go ahead and just rewrite it. So we have VB minus, I won't include the minus 0 volts. Okay, so we just have VB over 4 ohms. Okay, let's do this current now. Okay, so let's do that current now. Well, it's a very similar thing. So this is also a current that, so this is a very similar thing. So we can do plus this current, which is VB minus 0 again, because down here it's just 0. Okay, so it's just VB again, divided by 4 ohms. Okay, and then for this next one, we have, we're looking at this current now. For this current, it's just VB, okay, except now we have to have a minus VA, right, because the potential difference across this resistor is VB minus VA, okay, and then we're going to do divided by that resistance, 3 ohms. Okay, and KCL says that this is the sum of all the currents has to be equal to 0. Okay, so now we have, you'll see we have 2 equations and 2 unknowns here, and we can just plug this into any of our circuit solvers that we have. So you can literally do this on a calculator, or you can Google any sort of linear system solver, and this will solve it for you. But really, the final answer, however you arrive at it, the final answer, whatever method you use, will be VB is equal to 4 volts. Okay? So now, this is really handy because now we have a way of generalizing any circuit so that we can solve it efficiently. Okay? So even if we can't use our series and parallel combinations like we could before, we still have a way of solving these circuits that's A, very powerful, robust, and always works. Okay, and then B, we can implement this numerically, like in any sort of simulation software. Okay, so now let's look at another example. So this example is going to have more nodes, and hopefully, it'll be a little more complicated, but it'll also show you, how to solve for these circuits. Okay. So now let me write out the circuit. Let's have a 30 volt source, okay, going into a 10 ohm resistor. Okay, and we'll have one branch coming down here 3 ohm resistor, and then an 8 ohm resistor back to the source. Okay. Then over here, we can also have 1, 2 resistors. Okay, so this will be a 6 ohm resistor, this will be a 2 ohm resistor. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do, always, is we have to tell it, or we have to designate a reference node, or we have to designate a ground node, whichever one you want to call it. So for me, I typically like to make my ground nodes the negative input of the battery if there's only if there's only one source in the circuit. But really, it doesn't matter. You're going to get the same answers regardless, so you can designate the ground nodes anywhere. But for me, it makes it easier to understand. I'm going to say this is the ground node. Let me go back and rewrite that. So I'm going to call this is the reference node. Okay? So one thing we can see already is that we know this is 0 volts here. We know that's 0 volts. And we have a 30 volt source, so we know that this has to be 30 volts here. So we can already just get that out of the park. That makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so we know that that's 30 volts here. Okay, so now let's go through and name our nodes. Okay, so we'll call this one node A, this one right here node A. Okay, let's call this one down here node B, and this one node C. Okay, so you might ask, why aren't we naming this one here? And that's because it's really just node A, right? Because it's connected by this perfect wire. So that is the same thing as node A, so we don't have to represent that as anything special. That's just node A. Okay? So now let's start writing our equations. So I'm going to use the blue color for node A, just to represent this a little bit. Oop. Node A. So for node A, let's look at this current first. So this current is going to be VA minus 30 volts over 10 ohms. Okay. Now let's look at this current. Okay. So this current is going to be VA minus VB over 2 ohms. Okay. And then now we're going to do this one for the final one. This will be VA minus VC over 3 ohms. Okay, so now we have every single current leaving node A represented by Ohm's law, so it's the potential difference over the resistance. Okay, so we know that this has to be equal to 0 because that's Kirchhoff's current law. So Kirchhoff's current law has to be satisfied. This has to be equal to 0. Okay, so now we have this for node A. We're not quite far enough to solve it yet, so let's do the same thing for node B. Okay, for node B, this one right here. For node B, let's start off with this current here. So this current is going to be VB minus VA over 2 ohms plus this current going this way. That's VB minus VC over 6 ohms. And that's all the currents we have leaving because we don't have any other branches at node B. So this is going to be equal to 0. Okay, so finally, let's do this for node C. So let me scoot down a little bit. This will be node C. Okay, so I'll use the green color to designate which one is node C again. So that's node C. Back to red. Now, let's start off with this one here, that current I showed in red. That is VC minus VA over 3 ohms. Okay, let's do this current next, plus VC minus VB over 6 ohms. And then lastly, let's do this current, plus VC minus 0 volts, so I'm not going to include the minus 0, so it's just VC over 8 ohms. Okay, and this has to be equal to 0. So now what you can see is that we have 3 equations and 3 unknowns. So this means that we have enough information in order for us to solve this circuit. Okay, so all you have to do, like I said, is you can Google a linear equation solver and plug all this stuff in. You can use MATLAB if you have a good calculator. You could use that. I'm sure that there are probably programs you could download on your computer if you'd like to use that. You could work it out by hand, but it can be time consuming, especially if you have 5 or 6 or 10 different nodes. But you can use linear system solvers in order to get the values for all of these voltages. Okay, so I'm not going to show you here because I'm going to let you do it however you're going to want to do it, whatever method you're going to do. I'll just give you the final answers that I got. Okay, so the final answers I got was that VA is going to be equal to 15.14 volts. VB is equal to 14.32 volts. And VC is equal to 11.89 volts. Okay. So, I really strongly encourage you to go and try this on your own, because this is the only way you're going to verify that you're doing it correctly and that you're plugging everything into your solvers correctly. I double checked and made sure that these numbers were correct. I also triple checked, made sure these numbers were correct by plugging this into LTSpice. If you'd like to do it that way, please feel free to. If you don't know how to plug circuits like this into LTSpice, go take a look at my previous video, Lecture 7. I talk all about how to do that, and we get ourselves a very simple circuit set up, and you can learn how to use LTSpice for simple circuits like these to verify your equations. Okay, so like I said, I really encourage you to work this out on your own, because whichever method you're using, it's going to be a little bit different. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. You can check out my website, axelectronic.com. I'll leave a link in the description. Otherwise, I'm Aaron Carman, and thank you for watching.